It's time for me to get yelled at by right-wing anime fans and get called a tourist once again, because today I'm going to be talking about the Chud's mass cancellation of the live-action One Piece Season 2. Now, I'm just going to get this out right up front. I have not seen One Piece, nor do I know much about One Piece, though it is on my list. When the One Piece comes out, I absolutely intend to watch the hell out of it. So, I'm excited to delve into the world of Luffy's adventure across the, I think it's like 12 seas in the show, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in chat if I'm wrong. I know a little bit of the lore. I know the basics of the story. And I know some of the characters. You know, basically just through cultural osmosis. It's like Japan's most popular and most long-running anime of all time. So, there's definitely a lot to dig through there. It's a hard series to approach as a relative newbie to the world of anime. So, to any One Piece diehard fans that end up watching this video, try to bear with me. I'm so sorry that I'm not, like, you know, read up on the lore. You know, I hope I don't cringe you out too hard, but I'm here to defend what you love, so hopefully the fact that even people who are not active fans of your favorite piece of media are out here defending it, that kind of speaks volumes about how great your favorite art is, right? Like, I haven't even seen this shit, and I'm out here defending it. So that speaks volumes, I think. Now, a channel called Monty Sensei has recently gone semi-viral. It's not a massive video, but people have really been talking about it. For a video he put out called Netflix Gives One Piece Vivi the Modern Audience Treatment. Now, I'm just gonna cut through the bullshit here. What he means by that is the anime character has light skin, and the actress playing her in the live action is brown. That's what they mean by that. They have a lot of creative euphemisms for rah, brown person, ree. So, let's hop right on in without any further ado and hear their complaints about the upcoming Season 2 of One Piece. Bars.
There's a reason I don't watch any anime live action adaptations that has any Western influence or involvement. Too many times.
Well, you're already kind of establishing a rule for yourself that I feel precludes you from plenty of good media. I'm sure there's plenty of good media outside those rules, but like, why would you set a rule for yourself? Like, yes, all Western influenced media that's anime is bad. All of it. I'll never even try it. It's like, I mean, something good gotta come out of it eventually, right?
Times they have proven not just to be incompetent, but just flat out corrupt when it comes to decision making, especially of the characters. Whether it's Faye being gay in Cowboy Bebop, Light having nowhere near the suave demeanor in Death Note.
I like, by the way, how we're gonna have like a mixture. I can already tell we're gonna have a mixture of like, remember the Death Note live action anime? Remember how bad that was? Remember how they like changed everything? Like everything besides like, there is a Death Note, Ryuk is in it, and the names of the characters are the same. And the basic, like, idea of kid gets Death Note, kills a bunch of people, investigator tries to hunt him down is still there, but everything else is different and in a worse way. Like, everything about it is just worse. Like, everyone remembers how bad that was, so he's gonna probably use a lot of the ill will of the horrific, Death Note live-action adaptation bars to kind of sway people over. And it's like, hold on. People's number one problem with the Cowboy Bebop live-action remake, I remember, was not the fact that they changed a character's sexuality. That's clearly his problem, because he's got a political issue with that. I imagine that her sexuality is not important to the story, so changing it wasn't a big deal. What people seem to have a really big problem with was the fact that Cowboy Bebop has a very established style, like an unmistakable, highly recognizable aesthetic and style, and the live-action recreation just didn't carry that about. From like the color grading, the lighting, the costume and set design, it just didn't feel like Cowboy Bebop enough to scratch the itch that fans like had, right? But he's trying to throw real criticisms people had in with, they changed her sexuality and made her a lesbian. Like, and it's very clear he doesn't have a problem with the change. He has a problem with what the change was to, if that makes sense. Like, if the character was originally a lesbian and was made straight, he wouldn't be complaining about the change.
With the obvious race swap of L that a young Jared Leto would have done right. And even beyond that, I'm just done watching what.
Well, surely I can't accuse this guy of having a problem with black people in media because, at least based on his voice, I'm assuming he's not white. He sounds like a black guy, so I guess I can't accuse him of being racist. That's, famously, if you're black, you can't be racist against black people or have any kind of internalized racist thoughts. Now, obviously, this guy is either trying to pander to people who have problems with race-swapping characters, or it is possible he just has a serious problem with the idea of a race swap. But, like, I'm going to be honest here. There are two things I value, or I guess there's a lot of things I value in a live-action adaptation of a piece of media. Like, say, for example, they took my favorite anime, as basic as it may be. I'd say my favorite anime is probably Attack on Titan. If they wanted to make a really, like, popular Western live-action adaptation of it, Western, keyword Western, I know they made one already, but it's not Western. Let's say they wanted to make Eren a girl, and they wanted to make Mikasa a guy. Just completely gender swap Eren and Mikasa. I would not lose my mind over that as long as the fundamental characteristics of those two characters, their personalities, their motivations, and even just the way they are still gets across. And particularly that whoever is cast does a good job of selling me on them being that same personality and serving that same role as the original character. I can be okay with the character looking totally different from how they're supposed to. A really good example is Nick Fury in the MCU. Nick Fury in the comics is a blonde white guy. In the MCU, he's played by Samuel Jackson. And honestly, like, people, for the most part, weren't really mad about it. Not that many people got pissed about it. Not when it happened. Most people honestly didn't know about Nick Fury, to be fair, so that probably helped. But even those that did were like, honestly, he's doing it well. I like Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury. Like, what should come first should obviously be, are they playing the character well? And if that is being done well, if they're playing the character well enough, I can totally look past they don't look like the character. Like, I don't think it is a good idea to cast based on appearance, right? Like, this is how the internet operates, weirdly enough. Like, you ever see those fan casts where it's like, yeah, that guy definitely looks a lot like the character, but he can't act for shit, or, like, he has no range. Like, he could not play this character. He doesn't have the voice for it, or, like, the vibes for it at all, you know? Like, you just see fan casts based entirely on appearance alone. Like, this feels like fan cast adjacent criticism, if that makes sense.
Western media as a whole, with very, very few exceptions, mainly because I'm sick of playing the cat and mouse game with Hollywood, where they reel you in with false hope, like a few good episodes or solid first few seasons or something. Then once they realize they have you hooked is when they introduce the political correctness,
I'm curious, what is the agenda? Why, like, is it the Jews that are deciding, okay, good, we've gotten this piece of media trusted, now we can start putting the woke Jewish agenda in the media, because that's all we do. What are you talking about? It's Hollywood. Their business is making movies, putting a certain amount of money into making the movie, and then turning a profit on it, okay? Like, that's the point of Hollywood, all right? Like, if you have a problem with Hollywood right now, or with, like, mainstream Western media, you don't have a problem with some agenda. Well, you have a problem with progressive messaging, clearly. Like, that's a big issue you have. But what you probably are most put off by as a media consumer, barring political views, is the fact that right now, the standards for media in the U.S., I will admit, in the U.S. in particular, have been degrading. Like, I was alive. I remember when the average show had a 20-plus episode seasons. And those episodes were well made. And they were good episodes. Like seasons had like of shows would be like 20 plus episodes long regularly, sometimes 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 plus episodes long seasons of shows would be. And now we're at the point where, like, oh, a new show just came out. How many episodes is it? 8 episodes per season. Sometimes it's 6. We're getting to the point now where it's not unusual for a season of a show to have 6 episodes. If we're lucky, it'll have 12 to 16. Like, right now, genuinely, like, the most you can hope for season length in most shows coming out of America is 12 episodes per season. If you're getting 12 episodes per season, 12 straight weeks of entertainment before a multi-year break between seasons, then you're lucky. Your show is in a good spot. I will say, like, the series of writers' strikes, the amount of, like, corner cutting, the fact that we're relying really, really heavily on underpaid, overworked 3D effects artists that, you know, we could just put a little, like, why, like, they don't want to have to pay the guild centered around making props, so that's why we're getting less practical effects in movies, because they want to cut corners and spend less money and not have to reach the demands of the unions that exist to protect those that create the props for movies. So we're seeing less practical effects, more worked, rushed 3D CG effects that just don't hold up and don't look good compared to shit from a while ago. Animation is getting so fucked in the West. We're seeing more and more digital cell animation. Like, oh my god, the new King of the Hill show is great, but the animation is so fucking bad because of the budget issues they had. Like, there are a lot of real criticisms to have, but you'll notice every single one of those problems was money related. It was either greed or there not being enough money going into making the actual art. That has nothing to do with the woke agenda, or what he might honestly be referencing if he's that far into the sauce, the Jews. It has nothing to do with that shit.
Agenda, the blatant in-your-face message, but let's pretend it's not there. But if you dare call out whatever...
Bro, this guy's a fucking clown. What do you mean, let's pretend it's not there? Have you not seen the woke people on Twitter celebrating when a gay person shows up in a piece of media? How is it simultaneously supposed to be, like, messaging to the left, but also we're meant to pretend it's not there? Like, no one is pretending it's not there. No one is, like, in fact, you're meant to celebrate it, if anything.
Everyone else sees, then you're the problem. In the latest instance where this is occurring is the race swap of Vivi in season 2 of the One Piece live action.
Oh, not again.
And I already know what people's response will be trying to minimize. It's just one thing, why don't you watch past it? And my answer is,
how about no?
And it's actually...
That's fine. I honestly don't care whether or not he watches the show like that. So I'm not here to argue why he needs to watch the show. I'm here to argue with, like, why his reasons for not watching the show that he's stated are just silly and worth making fun of.
Coincides with my previous videos about gatekeeping. It's that soft attitude that emboldens these types to do whatever they want with these properties. You allow a little of it, and eventually you will get a lot of it, as time after time has proven. To the point...
Yeah, that is, funnily enough, there's a term for that. It's called the slippery slope fallacy. The keyword fallacy. They don't call it the slippery slope truth or the slippery slope story or whatever. They call it a fallacy because thinking this way is fallacious and incorrect. You're being presumptuous and filling in gaps with information you're pulling out of your ass because you're too lazy to talk to people that disagree with you and talk to people that are part of the groups that you have problems with. I mean, I am assuming a lot about this guy, to be fair. I'm assuming a lot about this guy. If he wants to contact me and have a conversation off or on stream in order to, like, maybe correct some of my misconceptions if I'm having them, I would be happy to. But I can only really pull so much from the video we're watching, you know? So, you know, I've put out an invitation if he takes issue with this video.
Point we've gotten a handicapped Spider-Man and gay Captain America where it isn't just blatant but flat out silly, and that's how deterioration of...
One thing that he's not stating that is implied, though, is it is a problem these things exist. That's something that I find very kind of sinister, right? Like, this isn't just criticism because he doesn't like it. There's this hanging implication that this needs to be stopped, like eradicated, that like any of it existing in the media is a slippery slope that will lead to total destruction of any enjoyment of that media, and that it has to be eradicated in any form or presence or quantity it exists in. So it's like, on one hand, this guy probably believes that the right is censored for disagreeing with the trans agenda, and at the same time, he believes that trans people should be erased from any form of representation in media he likes. It's like, all right, but who has the more overbearing, like, insane view about how media should be treated? Like, I would agree that if a diverse casting is forced upon a production team by corporate, like top of the totem pole corporate, and it's completely against the artistic vision of the artists, that's a problem. Not a woke problem, it's a capitalism problem, because the big money bag people think that'll pull in more money and they don't care about the artistic vision. But oftentimes that's not the case. People who make art are oftentimes very gay and these days very woke. So you're going to end up with a lot of woke art. That's just kind of how it works.
A property works, little by little, slowly but surely, like a house left unmanaged or not maintained, eventually developing leakage, cracks in the roof, floorboards weaken to where the whole thing collapses overnight and you're left wondering why. Because you overlook the obvious, compromising the integrity to where it becomes unrecognizable. And this isn't just theory or speculation, but by this point, it's pattern recognition. And I get it. There are those in good faith making the point, well, I'm usually not for the race swaps, but I'll excuse this because Vivi is the queen of a society in the desert, which can be depicted of a certain tribe of people, so I guess it makes sense. But for this, using their logic, it still falls flat because
Listen, it actually does make sense for this character not to be white when you consider what region of the world she comes from and where she lives, but you can't give them an inch or they'll take a mile. Soon they'll make every character black. Alright.
the actress is Indian and not of Arab descent, so it makes it even worse for everyone.
You know, I'm going to just throw out a wild speculation here, a wild theory. I think this man just likes some big booty white women. Fair enough. I think that might be part of his motivation. He's like, Ray, I wanted to see the big bubbly breasted original Vivi. She was supposed to be a white girl. I think it might just be Goon. And you know what? I can respect it if it's Goon. Actually, no, I can't. I can't respect it if it's Goon. But this feels like a Grum's take. Have we been deceived? There are Arab characters who are dark-skinned. There are... Yeah, I don't know if it really even makes sense in lore for the character to be white, but even then, it's like... This is the most, like, reasonable race swap you could make under the circumstances. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly curious which side of the outrage fence he was on when the live-action Ghost in the Shell movie came out. Ooh, that's a good one. Scarlett Johansson or Japanese woman? Like, did he defend Scarlett Johansson playing the character? I'm curious about that. If he's ever posted about that, I'd be curious to see what his thoughts were.
Everyone enabling this, trying to rationalize this type of decision making. But even then, it's causing debates on top of debates in the comments. What is true? What's accurate in this region versus that region? When all you had to do was pick a fair-skinned actress to play a fair-skinned character. And if the activist minded...
We're really doing the whole, like, look at this cosplayer. She would play the character perfectly. Who gives a shit if she can act? She looks like the character. That's what matters most to me.
Types find that problematic, tell them to
get the fuck out!
It's that simple.
When I'm watching anime,
there's a reason why this guy's job is not casting director in any studio or media anywhere. There's a very good reason why that's not his job.
My suspension of disbelief is so high, I don't need everything to make sense. It's a show where the main character can stretch his limbs further than a football field, so real-life accuracy isn't necessarily the aim of this story, but only to entertain, making you feel something at times. Without this politically correct, obsessed, not enough...
I'm curious what his thoughts were when that one Battlefield game released, where they had the, like, World War II setting with female soldiers that had prosthetic limbs and stuff. Who remembers that big, like, cancellation spree in, like, 2018, 2017, maybe? I wonder if he was, like, talking about that and being like, this is unrealistic. There wouldn't be women fighting in World War II. This is a World War II game. They've got women, and they've got disabled women fighting in the war. What the fuck? This is unrealistic. I would bet my left nut if he said anything about that game, he said that. I seen Juds go after AJ Beckles for standing behind an artist changing the characters of Don to black, and he left Twitter. Huh. Most Arabs are brownish skinned, and this guy is unserious. Yes, this guy is being a bit of a clown.
Representation, which it already has in this show, that nobody had a problem with until 5 seconds ago. And I don't know who made this decision, who approved it or finalized it, but I do know the showrunner isn't the same as the first season. Maybe that has something to do with it. And I know Oda has a lot of say in the development of this adaptation, so maybe he didn't choose it but still approved it. Which raises another concern of mine when it comes to Japanese creators working with Western creators. I say that using air quotes. There's something that happens with...
You know, I wonder if this guy has done a lot of criticism of like the anime industry, like the overwork. Like, one of my favorite catchphrases to say while watching literally any super well animated scene towards the end of Attack on Titan is, guys, lock in. Billions of animators died to bring you what you're about to see. Because there is just some real fucked up shit going on in the animation industry. It's pretty fucked. Like, these people are being worked to death, okay? And then on top of that, like, because everything's so rushed out and, like, the way that they organize these productions are so insane, I wonder if he's talked about a recurring issue that I've had with anime. And that's the use of 3D CGI in place of 2D animation. Sometimes it works. When you can, like, really pass it off, it works. It cuts corners, it gets a little money saved, that's good, but sometimes it gets overused to the extent where it's like, oh my god. Baki might be one of the biggest offenders. Later Attack on Titan has some scenes that are like, damn, why didn't they just animate that? Fuck. You know, like, the Berserk remake has that problem. Yeah, like, it's really jarring, and it's becoming a more and more and more and more common thing in anime. Like, every new anime that I end up watching has more use, not as bad as Baki, to be fair, but more use of, like, that 3D CG corner cutting, and it's getting to be, like, enough of a problem that it's starting to be, like, a stereotype of modern anime in my head. So if he wants to play this, like, anime adaptions are so bad, it's like, dude, modern Japanese anime is, like, in a rough spot. It's getting worse. Like, the problems are getting worse, and, like, in the next 10 years, we're gonna be talking about how anime fell off if things don't start to come around in the other direction. Yeah.
Authentic creators that once they created something of extreme value, they pick up the phone when current Hollywood calls and get sucked into that bubble, and they eventually...
Oh, wait, hold on. We have our native One Piece expert in chat right now. One Piece 34. The funny things, JD, the creator of the manga, Oda, chose the black actress because she fit what his character is supposed to be and the cultural inspiration. So the creator of One Piece, the manga, chose this actress and explicitly said she is the right pick for the intended depiction of the character. That does not surprise me. These people have been known to claim media believes or supports something that the person who made said media has stated they don't believe in. A really good example is the Starship Troopers movie. Like, you've got, like, a literal commentary track of the movie's creators talking while watching the movie, and they're literally just saying, so yeah, you know, we obviously took a lot of inspiration from the Nazis when it comes to the Earth Federation. Like, the officers are wearing Nazi coats. That's literally that's a Nazi uniform. Like, Neil Patrick Harris is in a repurposed Nazi uniform there. We really wanted to get across the idea that this is a fascist, miserable society. Meanwhile, right-wing Twitter is like, you like the bugs! You know, really telling that the left watches Starship Troopers and identifies with the bugs, huh? It's like you got the creator of the media saying, yeah, you know, you're supposed to understand that, like, from the POV of the humans, the bugs are monsters, but if you can think in a more three-dimensional way, like, these things just suddenly started getting attacked one day. We don't actually see proof in the movie, purposefully so, that the bugs are responsible for the, I forget, Buenos Aires, I think it was, getting wiped out. Anyway, back to it.
catch that politically correct bug. I say that metaphorically, but also seriously. When a true creator creates an activist free zone, they're not thinking, does this pass the politically correct test? Does this fulfill representation quotas? Does this offend, etc.? It doesn't occur until they become a part of that bubble where now they're micromanaged every step of the way, where the quotas themselves filter out any creativity they had. Or if a number of people said, well,
I like this idea that, like, woke quotas totally exist, by the way, somehow eliminate creativity. If that's happening, these woke quotas aren't part of an ideology. It's part of, like, companies thinking that, like, virtue signaling progressive politics will make them more money. Or that even the controversy, this is the crazy thing, many of these companies almost certainly know that the right-wing inevitable controversy made by these decisions will end up generating revenue in the long run, because there's no bad press. Outrage is still useful. So ironically, his outrage and the outrage of others might be playing into the exact intentions they had when making these decisions. That's the funny thing about all this. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these like high up suits are like, yo, we could race swap one main character and we'll have an entire sector of the internet talking about our new movie for the next 6 months until it releases. And even weeks after, they'll be like constantly reporting on the box office numbers and everything. Like they'll be talking about it nonstop. It's free advertising. All you got to do is race swap one character, free advertising. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these people are playing into the hands of these companies.
Your story is so popular and beloved around the world, wouldn't it be nice to just change it up a little so people in different regions could see themselves in the character?
No.
Also, yeah, notoriously from, I don't know a lot about One Piece, but I know a fair amount about One Piece's creator. And he's I don't know if he's a leftist, but I think he's a socialist, right? Mind you, socialism is not that uncommon in Japan. Or at least... socialism is not as, demonized in Japan. There are actually a lot of young, millennial, Gen X, and younger people who are pretty, not pro-socialism, but, they don't demonize it. They don't hate it, right? And so, yeah, it's not that uncommon for artists in Japan to actually be quite progressive. Particularly the creator of One Piece is known for being quite progressive, and not just, economically speaking, like advocating for the working class. That kind of stuff could technically cross any political party line. But in the case of the creator of One Piece, he's at many points, going back a long time, chosen to positively represent marginalized groups, particularly LGBT people. I think he's been pro-trans and has depicted trans people positively way before that was a thing anybody was okay with. I know there was a lot of talk about that. So we're definitely making a lot of assumptions about the political opinions and intentions of an artist who has made his positions public, and those positions don't align with this guy. And yet he's assuming that this creator, the original artist, would disagree with these moves that it seems like he had a large part in. Mind you, the One Piece live-action anime is really well received from what I've seen. So, this instance of sinking ship spotting, as I call it, has failed. For those who don't know, conservative grifters oftentimes try to spot a popular piece of media that's a sinking ship. Take a popular video game, number 500. Used to be, everyone used to play it, but then recently it's had a long string of bad updates that have led to a lot of people quitting and a lot of people hating the game, feeling negative about it, feeling like they might quit. But there's also been a new hero added to the game who's canonically non-binary. And so every right-wing YouTuber starts talking about how Overwatch, in this case, is what I'm thinking of, but any game, is falling off because they added a non-binary character, right? It's no, it's falling off because they made a bunch of shitty balancing changes that pissed off the fan base. But when everyone's pissed at Overwatch, they're going to watch a video about how Blizzard is woke and the new character is garbage, only to find out they're not complaining about the balancing of the game, they're complaining about the character being DEI. But, they already clicked on the video, so maybe they hear it out. It's entertaining enough, and the next thing you know, they're on a binge watch of conservative propaganda. It's called the sinking ship spotting method. If they can catch a sinking ship and monetize that sinking ship and monetize the rage, it can be massive for them. problem is they got to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. So oftentimes they end up attacking popular, beloved pieces of media. For example, the Fallout live-action show, or this show. Both very popular and beloved. These videos made by creators attacking it are not doing all that well because there's just not a market. These are not sinking ships. I guess these guys thought they might be. They just aren't. So, no virality to be gained off of hating the One Piece live-action show, it seems.
No.
No!
You wouldn't want to catch that this is offensive backlash, would you? Just saying. So then one might feel obligated or compelled to comply or concede to play nice. Let's not cause too much conflict, because any other way they might be worried to be seen as the bad guy or not inclusive. Something no one had a problem with for the nearly 30 years One Piece has been running versus until 5 seconds ago, trying to...
I don't think anyone had a problem with the live-action One Piece. It was a decision made by its creator. Once again, you're kind of fan-fictioning right now.
Appease those who can never be satisfied no matter what you do. Now, as I've said, I don't know how this decision occurred, but one would make the bet that if Oda was making this live action strictly in Japan with no Western involvement, influence, same budget,
Okay, more fan-fiction, we're assuming.
only to license to the West, full creative control, meaning he distinctly picks the actors and actresses from the cast and call himself,
He picked this one.
we would have received an actress who resembles Vivi accurately from the anime, skin, hair, boobs, and all.
I see I was right. He's mad. He wanted to see some big white girl titties in One Piece. And fair enough. But at least admit your number one priority here is you wanted to goon. Now the character is less goonable, because you're not going to find her as hot, and now you're triggered. You can admit it. It's fine. There's lots of right-wing grifters that are like that. Think Grums. Were we deceived? Were we fooled? FYI, pre-time skip, Vivi is 16 years old. Ooh, ooh. Well, to be fair, I imagine most of the show is post-time skip. This is a show that's like 50 years long or whatever in real time. But like, so I won't go after him for that line. But let's be real. He's very much just he's goon posting right now. He's goon posting.
Big ass titties.
But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below.
Yeah.
I know I'll catch flack for this. It is what it is. And I also don't mean disrespect to Oda himself, the legend. It's just an acknowledgement to what's been occurring for a very long time now, and hope future creators learn there's nothing wrong with staying true to your vision in its original essence. No matter how many outrage mobs come for you, stand true and the real fans will always stay by your side. Also, if you haven't checked out my music, Spotify links in the description. If you love those
Oh no. Oh no. I think I get what this guy's all about. Is this one of his videos recommended? Maybe anime is not for you. No censorship. And then there's a picture of 16-year-old teenage girl Momo from Dandadan saying, "I'm not real." You might be wondering why he chose to have her say, "I'm not real" in the thumbnail. That is because what he is no doubt defending, or I should say attacking those that criticized, is the fact that Dandadan, it's a funny show, but it's fucking weird, man. There are some questionable camera angles, some beyond questionable scenes in my opinion. And no, I don't think the show should be censored because it is meant to tackle some problematic subject matter, and if you're actually made uncomfortable by these things and not like a freak who's into that shit, then you're taking what you're supposed to from the media. This is media made for anime fans. These motherfuckers are not going to get the right message from that type of subject matter being depicted. They're going to fetishize it, which they do, and then they're going to defend fetishizing it, which he did, and you can tell just by looking at the thumbnail. Anyway, the girl on the left is Shampoo. I'm assuming also an underage character, just like Momo on the right is. Yeah. Well, this took an unsurprising turn, to say the least. Yeah, the anime community is full of degenerates, unfortunately. I have a group of friends who are super into anime that I literally consult, like, hey, if my friends are telling, like, people are telling me to watch this anime. Should I watch it or nah? And they're telling me, like, avoid that one. There's, like, it'll be like, they'll explain, like, some crazy-ass weird pedo shit that's in that anime. It's like, what? And I'll go and I'll ask the people who recommend that anime, like, yo, what the fuck? I asked another friend about this anime. They told me it has this, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the anime's really good, but that one scene is, you know, yeah. It's like, damn, what the fuck, man? Like so much more of anime than you would think is just filled with creepy shit. You gotta have, like a liaison of some kind that you, like, consult and be like, hey, is the anime good? Is it a good one? Is it cool? And you gotta get someone to check it out for you. Both the live action and vegging of the anime are pre-time skip, though. So through the entire show until some event happens that when a 2-year time skip happens, which is the current stuff in the manga. Okay, so more or less what he's saying is he is upset that he cannot goon to a character that will be introduced, presumably, as a minor. So he's mad they did not cast a woman he would find more attractive to play a character that he wants to goon to, who will be a minor in this upcoming live-action season. Well, okay then, folks. Alright then. Well, I think I've said all I need to on this topic, so if you enjoyed this video, then please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Every single thumbs up and comment on my streams and videos really does help to boost the channel and the algorithm and help me to reach more people in the future and grow and just succeed on YouTube. It really helps a lot. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon as well to turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms such as my Discord server, join through the link down below. In fact, tonight and every other Friday every week, I host watch parties, movie nights, gaming events, or call-in streams, and tonight's going to be a movie night or a watch party. I'm trying to decide on what we're going to watch. And we'll all be holding a vote on that soon. So if you want to be a part of it, then join my Discord and be ready to join the Xander's Theater voice chat, as that is where we host the watch parties. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub to someone else on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. And of course, if you guys don't know, YouTube only gives YouTubers that produce their content about 45% of the ad revenue split. Like, YouTube takes the other 55% if I don't have it mixed up, which means, you know, being a smaller creator, you guys directly supporting the channel really does allow for me to do this full time. It's the only reason I can do this, so I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot. You guys are the best. I hope to see you all again regardless of how you support me, and as always, I hope you have a good one.